Good morning, Bowls buddies. If it's Friday, it must be Ask Andy. Thanks so much for joining me today. Just going to have a bit of a clear up session today. Few comments that I need to respond to. Hopefully you'll find it interesting. But, you know, it'll pass 10 minutes or so, that's all that matters, I guess. Thanks so much for joining me. Remember, if you like the video, hit that like button. If you want to be part of the community and be a Bowls buddy, click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for notifications of any new content on this lovely channel. So, straight in. We'll pick up from last week, the Waterloo. Got some great comments, got some great feedback. We got more people taking up the 50-50 draw. I think Phil was saying that he's almost, did he say he's got 80, 78, 80, something like that. So it's looking like, fingers crossed, we could get to that 100, and he's happy to take more if more people want to join. Again, I will put that up at the end of the video if anyone wants to join the 50-50 draw for the Waterloo. Ricky Cochran put a poll on the Facebook Crown Green Competitions group. Disappointed with the response, really. I mean, I keep saying there's 6,000 members on there, but usually, you know, you only get a handful of people. I think last time I looked, it was about 150 saying yes, we want the Waterloo. A couple saying don't know, and a few saying not bothered, which a bit of apathy. But you know, I suppose the argument was we'd rather save our own clubs than the Waterloo. But that's a deeper subject we could go into at some point. Somebody made the comment, I think it might have been on my comments on the video, about the Waterloo being a place for the elite, and maybe we shouldn't just be concentrating on the top players. I might be paraphrasing, but that was the gist. It wasn't for everybody. It was for the elite. And I think that's been part of the problem with the Waterloo. People see it as this venue just for the top 30, 40, 60 players. And what made the Waterloo special wasn't the fact that Brian Duncan won it so many times, or Gary Ellis has won it so many times. It was the fact that anybody, absolutely anybody, could go and enter the Waterloo, pay their entry, and they could come up against one of the top names in the first round and beat them. The number of day trippers who over the years have put good players out and never gone back for the next round because they don't want to go back to Blackpool. But that's the thing that made the Waterloo special. You know, anybody can go and play there. Anybody can join the competitions. It's not just for the elite. It's for anybody and everybody. And I think that's what's been lacking from the Waterloo, certainly since the days of the 2048 entries. I mean, there weren't 2048 top players. Where did the rest of the entries come from? And a guy asked me, well, I'd love to play on the Waterloo, but, you know, are you allowed? Well, yes, of course you're allowed. It's open to the public. Well, not at the minute, but when it is open, it's open to the public. If there's no bowling on, pay your money. You can go and play on it. Anyway, I won't go over the Waterloo again. You know my feelings on it. I know a lot of your feelings about it. For me, fingers crossed, everything works out and we'll take it from there. Getting people through the door will be the big key issue, I think. Okay. An old friend of mine. I haven't spoken to him for a couple of years for various reasons. Not nasty reasons, we just don't seem to cross paths. He phoned me up and he was a bit irate. I'm not going to name him because it's not fair. And he was a little bit irate. He took me to task. He said, Kernsey, what's all this about? Midlands being the superpower all of a sudden. What shift? I said, well, you know, Warwick and Worcester, this, that and the other, North Midlands, Shropshire. Yeah. It might be true in county, but what about the big comps? There's no power shift there, he says. Do the research, Kernsey, he says. So I did. and I need to read. So I'm putting the glasses on. So I've taken the last 20 years from 2019 to 2000. The county championships, a Northern County team has won it 9 times. A Southern team has won it 11 times. A Southern team has won it 8 out of the last 10 years. Okay? So, I think they're perfect statistic for you to prove that the county balance has shifted towards the south. So, being the scientist that I am, I did the research. All England. In the last 20 years, 11 winners have been from the north, or northern counties. 9 winners have been from southern counties. 50-50, okay? Champion of champions, last 20 years. 14 have come from the northern counties. 6 have come from the southern counties. Wow, that's a big discrepancy. And finally, the Waterloo in the last 20 years. 15 of those winners were from the north and 5 were from the south. Now, granted, in recent times, you've had Tom Palmer, Paul Dale, Greg Smith, maybe in the last, 5 years, is it? 3 of the 5 have been from the Midlands. But the debate is still there. County level, definite southern swing. I think that's what my head is telling me, due to the fact that 8 out of the last 10 years have been won by southern counties, or the Midlands counties, if to be more correct. But in the bigger comps, the northern lads rule the roost. So I don't know what to think now. I think I must have been talking rubbish, but was I? I want to know what you guys think. Leave some comments. Let me have a look at them. Let's see. What do you think? Has the balance shifted as much as I said it had? Or was I right to be reined in a little bit by my good friend, who I'm not going to tell you whose name it is, because he doesn't want his house burning down? I mean, those stats are fairly convincing, really. I mean, fair enough, they're both on the Waterloo, so maybe that could be something. Maybe you don't get as many Midlands players in them, but you do for the Champ of Champs, and that looks quite a convincing stat, 14-6. And then he says, Cairnsey, you said something else. You said this Warwick and Worcester team, arguably the best team ever. I said, well, yeah, they've won it, written it down. They've won it 8 times in 13 years. That's, pretty good going. He says, Cairnsey, have a look through your history book. So I did. And from 1985 till 1998, a certain team won it 8 times in those 14 years. And that team, that county, was Yorkshire. So this is Cairnsey, Yorkshire. Best team by far. That was the best team ever. Make Warwick and Worcester, they'd batter them. And I thought about it. I said, well, I can't really argue. The standard of the county competition back then, mid-80s to late 90s, was arguably, well, it was top-notch. You'd no easy games whatsoever. Was every county competitive? Possibly not. But they all had wonderful players. I look at the North Lancs team, and they had probably 6 or 7 players who were, top 20 at the time. Never won county. Yorkshire were full of household names, plus they had these really top-class local guys who knew greens inside out, and you'd turn up thinking, who's this guy? Josh Pitt? Never heard of him. And when you'd come off, you felt like throwing yourself in a cesspit. Never mind a Josh Pitt. And that's what it was like playing Yorkshire. Fantastic outfit. Were they better than the Warwick and Worcester side of today? I have to say, yeah. I think they probably were the best team I've ever seen. Dominated the county scene at that time. Like I say, 8 times in 14 years. It's some good going, is that? And I'm sure they lost in a final a couple of times. I might have to research that a bit. I never looked at the runners-up. So, I've been pulled over the coals, brought to task by my pal. I can't tell you who it is. Well, I could. Should I? I'll think about it. And he's basically said, Cairnsey, you're talking rubbish. The statistics seem to back him up. So, that's really... I don't know whether to hang my head in shame or not, really. My punditry days, maybe they're behind me. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. What do you think, guys? I mean, can you compare different times like that? You know, it's only, 20 years difference. Can you compare those times? I don't know. But my gut tells me that, yeah, I think the Yorkshire side were probably the best county side. Warwick and Worcester, the current side, very close second. I must give them that. I think they're a really good side. A lot younger than that Yorkshire side was as well, which I think is amazing. And they could dominate for years to come. So that's the frightening thing. So there you go. I'm going to leave it there because you don't hear me rattling on about more statistics. I mean, you know, it's boring enough. So maybe I'm not the know-it-all that I think I am. Maybe that's what I need, reining in now and again. So big thank you to my pal from Todmorden for I shouldn't have said that, for ringing up and giving me a metaphorical telling off. Maybe more of you need to do that. Anyway, I'll leave it there. It's the weekend. Enjoy yourself, whatever it is you're doing. NHS bowling. Still can buy the t-shirts and raffles Mark Holding Facebook. Check it out. So weekend, no bowling unfortunately, unless you're going practicing. So I'll leave it there. Next week there's some cracking stuff on the channel bowling wise. Some really good videos. So hopefully you'll get to fill your boots there. Guys, stay at home. And if you can't stay at home and you go on the green, stay safe. And I'll see you on the other side.